All right, welcome back, everybody. We're going up into week two now of the NFL, and last week we went 9-7. Really unfortunate, but the Rams let us down in overtime. The Browns don't have a quarterback, and the Raiders forgot to play the second half, and their coach may have been on drugs. The Falcons is we'll talk about that, but they have some issues as well. The Giants, they're the Giants. They're probably already done for the season. Bengals looked surprisingly like absolute dog shit. I guess they always look like dog shit the first 2 weeks, but I didn't expect them to look like that much of dog shit. And the Packers lost their quarterback for the next 4 weeks. So yeah, unfortunate start to the season for my predictions. But 9-7, it's week one. What are you gonna do? You're aiming, we're aiming for positive. We got positive, I guess. All right, let's look into the games this week though. We got Buffalo, Miami. Yeah, I'm gonna give this game to Miami. They're facing a lot better. The Buffalo Bills are gonna face a lot better defense than they just faced against the Cards, and they barely squeaked that game out. Miami is an offensive powerhouse, especially early on in the season. And once it gets cold, though, once it gets cold, they slow down pretty hard. But yeah, I'm gonna give this one to Miami. Next up, we have Vegas versus Baltimore. This is pretty much an easy pick. Yeah, it's gonna be Baltimore here. Vegas just looks again disjointed in that second half. They didn't look like they wanted to be there. It was time to go home. And they had questionable coaching decisions. It's 4th and 1 in enemy territory. You're down by a touchdown, and there's only like what 7 minutes left on the clock. You punt. What? It's 4th and 1, and you're down by seven. Man, what are we doing? Yeah. That's just you just don't trust the offense, and you shouldn't have trusted the defense. you need points, man. Yeah, bad, not looking good. And next one, we don't even have to really talk about it. Chargers versus Carolina. It's the Chargers. Carolina is easily the worst team in the league for what is going to be the third year in a row. Yeah, this team is bad, man. Watching them play is heartbreaking. It's like, oh man, there's definitely somebody else who deserves that job when it comes to basically any of their positions. Next up, we got the Saints and Dallas. Now the Saints, they looked good last week, but they were beaten up on Carolina. Okay, so you have to think about that. You have to think about the fact that the Cowboys put up 33 points on what is like a top five defense, and Derek Carr had his best week in years, um, comparatively against one of the worst teams we've ever seen in football. So I don't think Derek Carr is repeating that against a really good defense, and I don't think that the New Orleans has the same tier of defense as the Browns. So I'm expecting the Cowboys to win this game. Detroit versus Tampa Bay. Detroit is literally just going to run the ball down their throats all game and win because Tampa Bay's rush defense is trash. Um, Baker looked good. Their offense looked fine, but I just don't think that their defense can compete with an offensive unit like the Lions. Next up, we got the Colts and Green Bay, and this one also has to obviously go to the Colts. We don't know what Malik Willis looks like starting for Green Bay Packers, and he might be fantastic. The problem is we don't know, and I'm not gonna trust that the backup for Tennessee that I've only seen play a little bit, who didn't look good, is going to suddenly look like God for the Green Bay Packers. So I'm going to give this one to the Colts. Anthony Richardson throwing absolute haymakers down the field, um, and the rushing ability. Yeah, it's going to have to go to the Colts here. Next up, we have Cleveland versus Jacksonville, and I'm going to be honest with you, I might be a homer in the facts that I'm always going to root for Cleveland to win, right? But I'm not going to pick them to win this game because they need a quarterback. This guy's washed. This guy's bad. This guy's I don't care if you're gonna eat $200 million if you cut him, man. Put Jameis Winston in there and let this guy be the third string. This is ridiculous. Like the amount of open passes I saw this guy miss on Sunday frustrated the hell out of me. And a lot of people are gonna blame the fact that he didn't have any time to throw, but even when he did, the guy had 6.5 seconds and just walks out of bounds instead of throwing the ball to even give a guy a challenge. He wouldn't even allow his receivers an opportunity. He'd rather just take 1 yard gains on busted plays, like just running. He wouldn't even give his guys a opportunity. So that's why basically the entire Cleveland fan face is just like put Jameis Winston in there because at least, if anything, he's gonna throw the ball, whether it be a fucking interception or a fucking touchdown. Man, it's throwing the ball. It was bad. It was a really bad showing. And Jacksonville, they did good against Miami. They held the lead for a while, but they ended up just choking at the end there. And I mean, the fumble on the goal line really hurts them. That one probably lost them the game, to be honest. So, but yeah, I do think that they'll beat us this time. Uninjured, last year we faced them and we beat them, but that was with Joe Flacco and an injured what is his name? Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. So Jacksonville wins this one. Moving on to San Fran and Minnesota. Let's see, what do I got? The Niners. Yeah, they're still one of the best teams. Still one of the best teams, have been for the last couple years. Minnesota, they looked good last week. I won't say that they didn't, but they're just not in the same tier as the Niners right now. So, Niners go 2-0 here. Next up, this one's my underdog of the week right here. I'm actually gonna pick the Patriots to win this game. And you're like, whoa, what? What do you mean? The Patriots are terrible. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, they are. However, they play really safe, really efficient ball. Jacoby Brissett doesn't turn the ball over. That's the whole reason, like, he's your quarterback right now, is because he's going to play safe ball. He's going to throw for 150 yards. You guys are going to rush for 200 yards, and you're going to get, like, 17 points, basically, you know? You're going to get 2 rushing touchdowns. You'll probably get in range for a field goal. The thing is, this defense is really good. And we saw Seattle struggle early in their game with, getting back into it. I think Geno throws a pick. But eventually they get back into it, right? Yeah. But I think the strength of the New England defense is to be underestimated here. So I'm going to give it to New England and say, shockingly, that they go 2-0. They're going to be 2-0, and that's going to throw people for a loop. That would be so funny, because they were predicted to be one of the worst teams. So it's funny. So yeah, I'm gonna take New England here. The Jets over Tennessee Titans. I just don't see how Will Levis doesn't throw this game. He threw the game against the Bears so hard, so unbelievably hard, that it's. I would love for him to have a bounce back, but when you throw a pick six and fall to your knees like this, and you just watch as it runs by, yeah, that's not. It's not great, man. So we're gonna say that the Jets, probably with a better defense than what they faced in the Bears, and with a better offensive game than the Bears had too. We're gonna say that the Jets take this one. Commies versus the Giants. Yeah, we're gonna take the Commies here. The Giants need a new quarterback. Daniel Jones ain't it. They lost Saquon. Their whole team looks terrible, to be honest with you. It looks bad. Malik Neighbors, I mean, at least you got one bright spot, right? But you need a quarterback to throw him the ball, so you're gonna have to wait. Have to wait to see him do something with that. Jaden Daniels will use his legs to escape, as he did last week, and he's gonna use it to create a lot of rushing yards and a lot of opportunities and whatnot. And you'll see the Commies end up winning that game. Just the Giants are just that bad, honestly. Usually, I'd say that the Commies are probably going to lose most of their games this year, not against the Giants. Rams, Cardinals. The Cardinals need to figure it out, because when your quarterback says, it's not my job to get your star wide receiver that you just drafted, like, number 4 overall, it's not my job to get him the ball, there's something wrong there, dude. Like, is it ego? Can he not see over the line? I know he's only 5'3", but, like, can he not see that this guy's wide open in the end zone? Like, that play actually pissed me off. And the fact that, like, that was his address to the media was like, not my job to get him the ball. It's like, motherfucker, you are the quarterback. It is literally your job to get him the ball. So he blamed the offensive play caller for not making him the primary target. And it's like, if he's open, give him the ball, man. Goddamn. So yeah, I honestly think that Arizona's going to continue to struggle, because that's what they got. That's what they're working with, and that kind of shit ain't gonna fly. You saw the Rams barely lose in overtime. Honestly, just Dan Campbell being Dan Campbell with his nonstop rushing attack, gonna win that game, man. So yeah, we're gonna give this one to the Rams. Next up, we got the Steelers versus Denver. Bo Nix is not good. 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 100 some yards on like 35 attempts. Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. That was bad, bad, bad. That was a ugly, ugly, ugly performance. And the Steelers defense is just way too good. That's it. Like we don't even got to talk about Steelers offense. We don't got to talk about the Denver defense. There's no comparison. The Steelers defense versus Bo Nix and this Broncos offense. That's game over. That's wraps. Just absolutely gonna brutalize this poor fucking rookie quarterback, dude. Bengals versus KC, another one where it's just like Bengals fucking suck at the start of the season, man, and they're about to face Kansas City. Yeah, it's a wrap. Give this one to the Chiefs. Chiefs are gonna walk away with this one pretty easily, it seems. We'll go on to the next one: Houston versus Chicago. This will be an interesting matchup. It would be interesting to see if Chicago is able to get its offense to actually get going, but that requires them to run the ball and commit to the run. They had 13 rushing attempts, and then they just threw the ball for the rest of the game when it came to the Tennessee Titans. And they could not get anything going on offense. Almost all their points, I'm pretty sure, were scored on defense. I think it was like 2 defensive touchdowns. It was bad. It was really bad for the Bears offensive last week, and I don't think that you're going to see much improvement here. And Houston, CJ Stroud, that young squad is going to move the ball down the field, and the Bears defense might put up more of a fight, but I do believe that they'll end up having actual offensive points. So unless the Bears defense decides that they want to score even more, if they want to return another pick six or another punt return or something like that. Yeah, so we're going to give that one to Houston. Next up, we're moving to Atlanta and Philly. This is another just easy one. Honestly, it's unfortunate that's an easy one, but Kirk can't move in the pocket. I don't know if he doesn't trust his Achilles healing or whatnot, but he can't move. He's so stiff in the pocket, and he used to be like a laser in the pocket, but he was missing every freaking throw he could. It was all low. There was no power in his throws. It was bad. So you might honestly see the guy that they drafted, Penix. You might honestly see Penix enter. Maybe not this game, but maybe later in the year, you're gonna maybe see him come in, because if that's why they drafted him, because they weren't sure if Kirk was gonna heal well, because he's a 38-year-old quarterback coming off of an Achilles injury. I mean, maybe it was a smart move in the draft. Nobody thought so, but maybe they're not going to waste their time now if they actually have a guy that they can throw in there and be successful with. But yeah, Kirk is an absolute liability for this goddamn offense right now, and their defense is fine. Like the Falcons' defense is fine. So is Philly's defense. It's okay, but Philly's offense with Saquon, yeah, that should also be a difference maker. All right, that is it for my predictions. We'll see how good we do right now. Obviously, we're 9-7 on the season. Obviously, we're hoping for a 16 week. Every week, I put $1. I put $1 on my 16 leg parlay or whatever. There's however many games. So if I get a full week right, man, I'm walking away with a chunk of change. So obviously, that'll be a great day, and you'll hear about it. All right, see you guys on the next one. Peace.